Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining once again. My name is Jane. Can you please can we hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Good evening, Jane.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Jane, and I'm the community manager for Hills and Tech. And we have our boss here with us. She was the one you just heard her voice, Mrs. Bisola Jai, and our host is here with us. So welcome. Thank you all for joining once again. Welcome to Hills and Tech for those who are just joining us for the first time, and for those who are just joining us for the first time, and those who have been here with us before. I will be running us through what we're all about at Hills and Tech. So Hills and Tech is a platform dedicated to closing the gender gap between women and technology. We offer several non-coding courses such as business analysis, data analytics, data governance, product design, product marketing, bioinformatics, and so much more. So a little bit about our founder, Bisola Halabi, having started her career in tech 10 years ago, has never touched any line of code and witnessed the gap between the women and technology. She watched women and families losing their jobs to digitization and decided to do something about it in 2020. Set up a platform where women who have increasingly become breadwinners can acquire non-coding technical skills and apply for highly quality jobs in less than 2 months. The result has been phenomenal, and we are committed to doing more at Hills and Tech. We are a fully online company. We take all our courses online, and we have trained over 25 countries. And this has been made possible by the virtue of hands-on training and quality of facilitators who ensures that students get value and also monitor them during interview sessions. Amazingly, we've trained students from various backgrounds, such as stay-at-home moms, undergraduates, lawyers, medical doctors, so much more. And by 2030, our aim is to have trained over 100 million African women through paid and free session. So this is where, hi, please, can you mute your mic, please? Thank you very much. So this is where some of our students work. We have students that have trained with us, and they are working in different companies, both internationally and locally. So about our guest, Toyin Aguda serves as the Vice President, AI Research Lead at JP Morgan AI Research. She specializes in the application of AI within the finance sector, focusing on areas such as generative AI, prompt engineering on large language models, entity extraction through large language models as well, synthetic data generation, and other NLP-related projects. She spearheads the AI in Africa initiative at JP Morgan and has played a pivotal role in organizing workshops and hackathons. Prior to joining JP Morgan, she was a data scientist at Caterpillar, where she was a subject matter expert for the client data platform for aftermarket solutions and a data scientist at Nielsen TV Rating. Toyin is currently an executive MBA candidate at the University of Chicago, Chicago Booth School of Business, and holds master's degree in applied economics from the University of Illinois at Chicago, and in applied probability statistics from Northern Illinois University. Beyond her professional pursuits, she is a mother of two and an entrepreneur who enjoys renovating and flipping real estate in Illinois. So please let us give a warm welcome. You can send in a reaction, you can send in a clap, ovation. Let's give a resounding welcome to our host, Mrs. Toyin Aguda. So I'll be making her the host, and I think she'll be turning on a camera to speak with us now.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for the warm welcome as well.
All right, so we're going to make this as much as possible. We want it to be very much interactive. So I don't know if you want me to ask the questions or you would read out questions, because I know we've shared a copy with you earlier. So, or my boss, Ms. Bisola, can read out the questions and you can answer, so that it becomes very much interactive.
I think I'll take the last one so that it's going to be more interactive with myself and Bisala, and people can ask a question on the fly as well.
All right. Okay, Ma, you have the floor. Mrs. Bisola, please.
I was on mute. Thank you, Ms. Toyin. Thank you, everyone, for joining our session today. We are excited about, you being on a platform and inspiring and encouraging our community members. Trust me, we've been receiving messages about, oh, she did that. And because she is able to do that, we are already inspired, to walk your path. And so Heels and Tech is a platform dedicated to closing the gender gap, but our niche is non-coding. So for starters, that's because women experience technophobia. So once they hear big technical jargons like blockchain, artificial intelligence, like I had to just start skipping. Like they feel it's a back-breaking, job. So I want you to share your experience in artificial intelligence with us, the opportunities that we can key into. And then maybe some later might be inspired to start coding just like you, but I'm sure that there are other opportunities aside from coding. So we would like you, to speak about the numerous opportunities in the AI sector in America, globally, what we can also tap into here in Africa, and then we'll take it up from there. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, sure. So I'm happy that Abisala mentioned that so that I can talk more about programming later, because I've been programming for like 15 years. So, but I also know that there are definitely opportunities that you can actually work in without coding. And the emergence of AI now has actually brought a whole lot of more opportunities out there. A lot of times when you see companies that are trying to get on board with AI, like, okay, what part of AI? A lot of people only know the large language models, or those GPT, Llama, and all that. And they think that that's the part of AI that makes it all AI, but there is so much more. There is robotics, all the things you have sweeping your house, all those little robots sweeping the house and all that. They've been in existence from time immemorial. And so this has always been there. And now a lot of new companies are trying to get onboarded into, okay, how can I use generative AI? Let me take generative AI for an example. They need people that can also strategize for them. So as an AI strategist, you don't have to know how to code, right? You just have to know how can they apply it, what will be the effect of applying this or not. Then we also have AI policy officer. We already have data policy officer. So some of those things that you see, put AI, take some of them out, like almost every role that you have in data, you can actually replace it with AI. You say data scientist, AI scientist, AI strategist, AI ethical officer. So a lot of people are very concerned about, oh, if AI takes over the world, people will lose their job, and they are very worried about it. But what do you think? Then there are people, there are officers, ethic officers that are looking into the scope that if these get deployed, are people going to lose their job? Or are people going to be able to do their job at a higher scale, right? Is it now scalable? Is it much more scalable? Do they just need newer techniques to be able to absorb that? And now you need someone called the AI ethic officer. It is a non-coding, it is someone that just wants to brainstorm and discuss and get all the facts together, get some of those evidences or inferences you can draw from. So it has nothing to do with programming. You will barely code anything, you'll use more of your brain and what you can get out there. Also, there are those ones also that I know for sure that can build user interface. If you are building user interface for AI products, if you're a designer, so those that will build it, I will probably code, right? But if you're a designer of UX for AI, you don't also probably need to know how to code or how to program. So there are a lot of jobs out there. A program manager that works for a data science group will be able to still work for an AI team, whether it's a research team or a product team, whatsoever it is, you'll be able to work. So there are still some of the skills you currently have that can actually transcend you working on whatever you're using it for. A project manager that already knows how to plan, or a scrum master that already knows how to plan things is still needed, right? Because even AI, to apply AI to it, you need to actually brainstorm, sit down together, brainstorm with a team that wants to build the AI, see how it could be accessible by this, how can it run across the company, what are the ethics we don't want to, and all these policies as well. You have data governance. Guess what? You have AI governance as well. So you have data policy, you have AI policies. So all these things are actually very relatable. All you have to do is at least have an understanding of how it works and know for sure that it's not trying to replace you. Some of us have all those robots in our house, that these vacuums that clean, yet we still bring out our broom and we still sweep if we want to. So are you telling me it's replacing your effort? No, it's actually helping you to be better. So I can be talking to you now while my little robot that is going around the house is still sweeping. Guess what? Now I'm relieved I don't have to sweep. But when I think about other things that are like, okay, I need to pack my children's toys, I have to do that with my hand. I have to see if that place is also swept. So I feel like it helps you to scale up. And some of those jobs, like I discussed earlier, they actually don't need any coding at all. And now you have the goodness of LLMs like ChatGPT. We have ChatGPT 4. So even now, when you want to brainstorm as a Scrum Master, you can bring your brainstorming to ChatGPT in the one that has the interface, and you can actually brainstorm with that person brainstorm with ChatGPT before going to your team to actually brainstorm with them. So you have one level up. So what I see is that it makes you scale up. You don't have to learn how to code. Yeah, AI strategy, AI policy governance, AI policy, AI governance, AI strategist, ethics. Yeah, all those things are actually out there that I can do. And then program manager. A lot of people that have a program manager job or a project manager job, they don't need probably anything. We have AI business analysts. Yes, because you still need to know, okay, what's going to be every project that a lot of people have to carry out with AI. They would ask you that what's the return? What's the return on investment, right? Why do you want AI? Why don't you want the process you have been using before? So you have to justify it. You need an analyst to be able to write those justifications for you, right? The team that is going to build it is describing the benefit, the goodness, and all that. The team that are going to be getting replaced, that means now they can put their focus on something else, are also going to say, okay, yeah, it's true. We've been really slowed down. We need something to be able to scale up. This would make it more scalable. AI can handle this.
No.
While human handles this one. So all those type of things, somebody needs to put it together and present it to the leaders, right? But yes, exactly, before they now agree to say, okay, this is it, we're going to go with it. I think I like it. It'll make them scalable. You need AI business analysts for that. In fact, their role might not change. They might still be called business analysts, but they can as well say they are AI business analysts because the products they are working on are actually AI products and all of that. So those are the skill set I can think about, all the jobs I can think about for now that actually you need no coding whatsoever. And it's already a lot. Program managers, project managers make a whole lot of money here. Business analysts too, and that's a whole lot of money. Now think about it. Now, if you have all these technologies in place, what else do you think you will need for your customers? A support system. So you need a customer support for your AI technology. A lot of them, they are just going to complain. When they complain to you, you raise a ticket. You don't need to know how to code to raise a ticket. The same tool you've been using for your program manager, for your Scrum Master, for all the jobs you've been doing so far, might still be the only one you need. Maybe you need Jira, you need a pipeline to be able to know, you need a back loop or check the whatever. But guess what? It's still the skill set you have. It's just that now you are relating it to AI. So you still need customer support and all the things I've said, and all this in you need no AI for. So even the
Thank
teaching of
you.
AI itself, yeah, sorry, I just want to say, even the teaching of AI too, you don't need to
Need
know it.
to
You can
code.
just refer people to those links, and you don't
Okay.
know how to code.
Yeah. So, and this takes me back to the next question, which means that do I need to go back to school to learn AI, or how do I strategically position myself into getting the AI industry,
Find out.
getting into the AI industry?
Check my change pampers.
Okay, so I would say probably not, or partially. One is that you want to have a good knowledge of what AI is. So AI is a very, very vast stuff, right? Excuse me. And it depends on, okay, where do I want to focus in it? So you cannot just say AI or just say, I want to deal with data. What part of the data do you want to deal with? Big data without having no understanding of it is actually useless to you. So when you say, oh, I want to go into AI, what part of AI do you want to go into? And what other things do you want to relate it to? So it could be, oh, I want to know more about natural language processing. That's the field I'm in. We do extractions, we do different things with knowledge, with natural language processing. Under natural language processing is generative AI. It's the large language models we have been seeing erupt in now. And then you see have things like robotics. So do you want to go into robotics, know and learn about automation?
Oh yeah, come.
Or you want to go into computer vision, right? So there are different aspects to it. Or you want to generate synthetic data.
I'm not
like,
sure, yeah.
I
So
don't
you're
want
using how
to
many
have,
hours to wear your clothes? We don't know you tip it down.
let me see.
Hi, Joanne. Sorry, your mic is on, please.
So you might want to at least get a niche for yourself that, okay, now that I want to learn AI, AI is not just all generative AI. And I think a lot of people should loud that trumpet much more, so that if you want to go into it, you have to understand that what part of AI do I really want to get integrated into? And then how do I want to apply it? Do I want to apply it in the technology sector? So I'm just going into like Apple or Meta, going into industries, maybe consulting and all that. Or do I want to apply it to finance? So how does it relate to finance? I mean, I feel like they have everything covered. We already have text message to cash your check or to do all these things. So what else can you do? The thing is that cashing your check, to take your check, I don't know if they do it in Nigeria now, it's been a while, but if you want to take a picture of your check here, you put your stuff down, like put your check down, take your camera and actually take a picture of your check and you can upload, right? Remember, you can actually work on that as well, because that's using computer vision, right? There's a vision is using to translate. So it uses the computer vision to extract those information from your check and then paste it as text and put it into it. And if it can extract it well, extract your signature, then it would say that it would check it. But sometimes you will keep uploading and you will see that it's not going through and they'll say you should come into the bank. That's all AI working underneath the whole thing, because you're using computer vision. And there's a lot of overlap with machine learning for those that knows how to program. But you can also be a customer support as well in such areas. So do you need to know a lot about computer vision? Probably not. Maybe just a little certification that you might be able to do for maybe 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months. I would say if you are not trying to program, don't take anything more than 3 months, because you will get bored, not because it wouldn't be useful. You probably get bored along the way. So please, when you are looking for courses, also focus on schools. So look at the quality of the schools that you want to take it from. I see a lot of courses from MIT. I see a lot from Wharton Business School. I see a lot from UniPenn. I see a lot from U Chicago. Look at the school before you start taking the course. And I once told somebody, before you start going for courses that you need to pay for, go to Coursera. Go to Coursera, go and look for courses that won't cost you nothing, that will cost you little to nothing, because you've subscribed to Coursera or other platforms like that, and take some courses that you don't have to pay anything. Try it out. And then even on YouTube, go to YouTube, type it in, how to be let's say, a project analyst or a program manager for AI project, and see if you find something and listen through to see the different courses they may want to give you. So I, as a person, I always leverage what I can get for free first before trying to pay for certification, because if I have those, all I have to do is build it into my skill set on my resume. I don't have to take certification. But you will see some job description that will tell you that we need AI strategists, right? And they will say certifications required. You can go and look for one from MIT, you can look for one from UniPenn, you can look for one from U Chicago that says maybe AI for decision makers and all of that, and then use it. So that's what I'll say.
Yeah, I think that's really important. You know, I was upskilling. Yeah, so everyone upskills. That's the beauty of technology. Because when I tell people that even I, as a founder, is always learning, they're always surprised because they feel that I know everything. So, and I read about, you know, AI in the health sector. You know, someone asked that question and I was excited because I was just about to talk about it. So AI in the tech sector, in the sense that the AI scientist had to get, you know, data from past patients and was trying to understand the history of all of these patients. And I think they were talking about how the AI detected like a neuron that causes cancer or something like that, you know, and it's kind of huge in the developed country. So I would like Mr. Toyin to speak about, you know, our experience in two industries, that's AI in finance and AI in the health sector. And luckily for us, she has also worked in the manufacturing, that's in Caterpillar. So I mean, she can, you know, speak about three industries I'm cut across three industries. So while discussing that, AI is not so big in Africa for now. So while you are speaking about the opportunities, we would like that you know, help us see how we can tap into tap into the global space, even from Nigeria here. And while she's doing that, I would want, you know, everyone to talk about a bit about the industry they belong in the chat, so that we can touch points on it and we can see how you can integrate AI into, you know, in your industry. Because guess what, AI is penetrating all of the industries, and nobody should be left behind. We believe that no one should be left behind. So going back to my question, so I'd like Mr. Toyin to speak about, you know, AI in finance, knowledge about AI in health, because someone asked about it. I've shared just a bit, and then AI in manufacturing. While doing that, please, guys, I would want that you just talk about the industry that you are in, so that she can share a knowledge based on that. Someone was like, oh, she's in retail. Yes, higher education. Oh, fantastic. So you can see that we have a lot of work to do. So
Yes,
yeah, I'll give you the floor, Ms. Toyin.
Yes, sure. So I'll start with AI in finance. And actually, I will first talk about a little story, just a segue. And I remember going for deep learning in Daba 2 years ago, now maybe 3 years ago, now that we're in 2024, and in 2022, and getting into the space, I saw a lot of people, a lot of Africans. I was actually very, you know how you feel so proud of yourself, like everybody were from Africa. It was deep learning in Daba in Africa. It was happening in Tunisia, and they sponsored a lot of people to come in there from Nigeria, from Ghana. We have a lot of competitors. They were all competing, doing hackathons and doing sort of through different other things they have in place for them. And I was like, you guys know AI. I was torn at the level of knowledge that these people were competing with. And I'm like, oh my God, we have so much resources, even in our developing country, that we can actually harness that we are not yet harnessing. And I looked across the whole stuff. They were all Google, the companies that I attended, Google, Microsoft, Meta, and all that. And they came to my booth because I was the one, myself and my colleague from UK. So I came from US, he came from UK, we're all in Tunisia. And they were like, they use AI in finance? I said, yes, we do. And I had to start explaining to them how they can apply the knowledge they have to actually finance. So with that, that's why I just wanted to say the story. And yes, you can apply it in finance. You can apply it to a financial institution. You can apply it in your banking operations, your day-to-day operation. So if your customers keep, I don't know how long it takes you to probably get your client, put them into the system and do all those things. And maybe you want to check if they're opening a business account, is it safe to actually have them? You want to do all your due diligence, you pass it through different officers. What about if you can use AI to generate information from them, especially if this person has a panel on Google, right? So a lot of people have panel on Google. If you Google Femi Otedola, he has a panel, right? If you Google other people, they have a panel. So for these people that probably have panels, or things like that, instead of going to them and saying like, give us information, sir, about what you give us details about this, have you been flagged, have you this, you can actually extract all this. You can do web scraping on them, you can do some diligence on your own, right, from them, and then push it into the system. And then based on that, you start reviewing them. So you're not starting from the scratch. It's not like you took somebody's information that you don't know, like you're taking Toyin Aguda's information. No, I didn't come as a customer. But if I'm a potential customer, you can as well use that, okay, that instead of asking all this information, if the information is out there, I can actually get it first, right? All these ones. So you look through your system, you look through what you do on a daily basis or what you do for your business. So if you are part of the wealth creation, let's say you're a wealth management team, what are we doing now that we are using 5 personnel for? And we are still doing, even though, yes, we've used data science, whatever, machine learning to do it. Which part of this can AI handle for us? So that's the question that you will use to bridge the gap. Because if I come now and tell you that, oh, you can use AI to handle this, what do you think I'm doing? I'm telling you what all JP Morgan is doing. Tada, I can't do that. Yes. So, but what I can tell you is that you go through your system, right? And you say, what am I doing now that I know that this is not too good use of my time, and can AI handle it? So all I tell people is, if you are trying to apply it, be it to finance, be it, and I'll talk about health as well. I'm not in that industry, so I can make good examples that nobody will sue me for. So be it finance, be it health, be it education, what am I doing now that AI can handle for me? And can AI handle this? But what kind of AI do I need? Is it going to be NLP? Is it computer vision? Is it reinforcement learning? You look at, I'm a mom, so I will probably use motherhood. You give birth to a child. The child does not all of a sudden start eating like you and discussing that, mom, if you see, no. They start looking at how you are doing things, right? They look at how you talk. They look at how you walk. In a few months, they start picking up. You start seeing them. They start walking. You start jumping. That's reinforcement learning. You are busy reinforcing the things because you are doing it over time and you are training them to do the same. Only that these are children. But now you can relate this to AI. So you can actually do some reinforcement learning as well. So all these things are how you can use it. Like, can I train AI to actually do this part of my job so that I can be more efficient in the use of another thing? Or all I have to come back in is to be the human in loop to check if what I've asked AI to do is actually doing effectively. And all I have to do is just to cross the I, dot the I's and cross the T's. So that's how I would think about it. Now, to think about it in healthcare, a lot of people are looking for cure on what to do. They already have how they do this already. Trust me, AI is more vastly used in healthcare. It's where it's gone. It's mind-blowing what you think AI can do in healthcare. But yet there is still some missing piece. I remember one of my colleagues in my executive MBA, it was saying, and that when they use the robot, it picks a dimension of the X-ray. And he said, so when he picks the dimension of the X-ray and he renders it, there's a lot of stuff. And I don't know how to get the actual answer. He does not filter out the answer. He didn't use the word filter. He said it in a layman's English. And I'm like, all you have to do is just to put a filter. That from whatever is rendering for you after the X-ray, you don't have to check all of it. We can call in an attention. So we already do a lot of data analysis. So that's where data science come in, and you are doing all those ones. So you already know what they should be looking for and what they should put their attention on, and that's what it will be doing. So you can actually build that when you finish, if you find this pattern, Or if you, so you can use regex. Okay, no, I don't want to go into coding. This is no code, so I'll go back. So if you find some patterns in it, you can actually tell it to like, come and zoom in. When you say zoom in, just like you can zoom your whatever, it's the same thing as saying filter in. That means go in depth only into this. You can disregard this. But some of the things you'll probably fall a victim of is false positive and false negative, which will always happen. So it is vastly used already in healthcare. And the non-coding skill that might be useful there is to be able to actually get the results of what they are doing and help them to see where AI can come through. So that doesn't mean you are programming. You're just getting the result from maybe a data scientist. So you can be a scrum master, you can be a program manager, you can be a project manager, and you are looking at all the analysis and saying that we can improve upon this. That I know, and you can talk to your medical doctors that, oh, why, if we hire somebody that knows AI, maybe this thing that you are doing every time when you write out your stuff, or let's say, let me even go easy, doctor's prescription. All those they are writing and they will write, and you'll be looking at, did they write chloramphenicol? It's another thing they are writing. You can actually take that writing in NLP and take it and look for something in AI that can translate it into. So they write it in the gibberish, they write it like how it looks, and then you use AI to actually translate this. And it translates it into English that is much readable. So you can do that as well. With that, if you are proposing that to your medical doctors or to the nurses you work with, you don't need to know how to code. You are just you're a problem solver, you're a critical thinker. So that's where you can come in by proposing new ways they can do things. And in education, there are a lot of ways you can use it in education. I write papers, and I know we write papers, but I think in Africa, I don't know how the whole of Africa, so I will just say in Nigeria, my own country, I would say we should do much more. Let's write papers that are relatable, not just rehashing papers or looking for something that somebody wrote in 1997 and you're bringing it in now and you're just adding something to it. Like you can actually do research on how to actually improve, even from kindergarten up, or from daycare, from preschool to primary school, to secondary school. Like, how can we actually imbibe AI into the children's curriculum? How can we even use AI to rewrite the curriculum? And that's what you can do. So if you are in a school, if you're a principal or if you're a teacher, go take your curriculum, put it in ChatGPT and say, this is my students. Yeah, you don't need coding. This is just strictly ChatGPT. Say, I have students that love to play this game. Now the world is about games. They want to learn how to build this. They want to be able to go for Lego competitions and all that. But this is the curriculum we have for them. If I'm starting them from age 5, what can I build into this curriculum for our age 5 that will prepare them for this by age 7? ChatGPT will give you an idea because you are already the expert. All ChatGPT is doing is that it's helping you. So now, instead of you to call me or call Bisola or have me, Bisola, Chi, Tony, everybody that I'm seeing here, Abigail, having all of us together in a room that, okay, let's brainstorm on how we should have our curriculum. No, you take it straight to ChatGPT. Write your prompt. So what's your prompt? Your prompt is the question you want it to handle. Write it in plain English. When it gives you the result and you don't like it, you can actually put it there that I don't like it. Don't write me an essay. Give me a list. Give me actionable list that I can use to build this curriculum. And then take the curriculum piece by piece and say, rebuild this part of the curriculum. I want you to be able to take math. I want my students to be able to go for math competition. If there are all these competitions to go in out there, what can I build in the curriculum that will set them up to be a better shot at age 7 if now they are age 5? So you are actually improving your curriculum using LLM, and you don't have to know how to code. All you need to know how to do is type in English, and that's it. So that's a way you can use it as well.
Yeah. You mentioned something about writing papers. So I would like to know, we Africans, we love money so much. So I'd like to know, is there like a monetary benefit to, writing all these papers, or how would it position us, you understand, as an expert? What are the advantages and benefits of writing all of these papers? Because I'm sure that by the end of today, every one of us to go and start thinking of a topic to write and start presenting our papers, including me.
Yes, which I'm looking forward to. So writing research papers in AI, the truth is that in Nigeria, at least for me in Nigeria, we have a lot we can write about and be the first set of people thriving in that field, because we are actually on one. We know where the shoe oughts, right? So there are already papers written by people. So you can go to Google Scholar and look for a paper that how to improve curriculum using LLM. You will find a paper on it. What do you think you will do? You will read that paper, because that becomes your related papers, right? Those are going to be the your theoretical frameworks that you want to, or your literature review, my bad. Your literature, I think we call it literature review. We call it related works here. So your literature reviews will be all those people that have probably either archived their paper or released their or published their paper. So you go online, read all these things. Guess what? You take these ingested papers and translate it to what can work in Google Scholar did. And translate it to what can work in Nigeria. So you are taking, maybe even if it's just the public sector, and you are writing a paper, an actionable paper that your local government can actually put into it, or the Minister for Education. And then you are coming to say that I just finished this paper, that do you want to join? Do you want to add to this? Do you want to do this? And now you are actually taking the paper and looking for conferences. So in a year, there are conferences you can submit your paper. And there are also there are conferences, there are summits. Sorry, I think my throat is getting dry. There are conferences and there are summits that you can actually submit your paper in. When you submit your paper, you get to present. When you present, what do you think you're doing? Your name is getting to people that probably enjoys that too. So I am a convener of AI in Africa. Every time we do this AI in Africa workshop in ICAVE, we have an ICAVE conference that we also workshop in. We do something called call for paper. So go on LinkedIn, go and be looking for all the call for paper. All the call for paper everywhere. You don't need to look for the one in Nigeria, because guess what? When they call for paper and they accept your paper, then you are ready to go out, to go present, right? Yes, you may be looking for funding. How do I get there? But when you get there, you cross that bridge. But at least you know for sure your name is out there, right? There are papers you can submit. There are some that will take place in Italy. There are some that will take place in the United States. There are some that will take place in Canada. There are some that will take place in different places. The deep learning in Daba, people submit paper there. You don't just submit paper to deep learning. If a particular, let's say AI in Africa, for the one I'm hosting, if we are doing a workshop and we say we are doing a call for paper, you submit not just to the conference, the deep learning in Daba itself, you can also submit to my workshop. And then your paper get accepted. And I'm telling you that you have to come and present. So once you start getting, you have to come and present. I've seen a lot of Nigerians, they will go on Twitter. My paper was accepted in this one. I have to travel to Tunisia. I need funding. Any funding, they will raise a GoFundMe. They will get money. What does that do to you? It gives you your fame. Now Bisola is being known. It's being known that she's trying to apply this in the African, in Nigerian sector, and is going to be working with the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Agric, Ministry of Education. Now you are influencing it. What do you think? They will start inviting you for different talks. You start owning a niche. So take a niche, even if it is agriculture. How can we bring AI to agriculture? What are they doing? There is this Makerere group I think it's in Kenya. I invited them to come and speak, and they were talking about how they did a particular experiment in Kenya, I think, either in Kenya or I can't remember, Makerere, I can look them up later. But then they wrote this fine paper. It was their professor. They carried out this experiment for agriculture. It's very effective. I was thinking after the program, a lot of Nigerians that came for that meeting. Yeah, Uganda. Thank you so much, Abibola. Yes, it's in Uganda. They have this thing. If Nigerians can study them and see how to be able to apply it, they will also release a paper. Do you know we have NLP for Hausa? We have NLP for Yoruba. All these things, you can take it and tell our forefathers, all the local government that have different papers that they've not done. Look for people that can code. You come with your critical thinking and your problem solving and say, let's write a paper. Let's take all this our local government stuff that they wrote in whatever. Let's see if we can use NLP for Hausa to transcribe this thing and push it into the system so that we start archiving in the cloud. So all that gives you even a job opportunity, NLP Yoruba, NLP Igbo. And then you see the NLP Yoruba, you know what affects all of our stuff? The diphthongs, Ogba, maybe the same thing as, maybe the same spelling, different pronunciation, different meanings, which makes it even much complex to actually interpret. So you're not even writing the code, you're just saying that this NLP Yoruba is not interpreting it well, that maybe if they're building diphthongs this way, and you are writing to the people that wrote the paper, that maybe I can join you to be a tester. Now you are testing, but you are not actually writing a code. Now they want to release the paper again, the adjusted paper or the updated paper. Guess what? They will have your name. You have become an author too. Now you're an author, so you can do that as well. So I tell people, don't just look for, oh, I want to be me, let me start my scope. No, read people's paper. Look for a point that they missed out, 1 or 2 or 3, and look for their emails and say, oh, why reading your paper? I see that this is missing. Or are you planning to actually improve upon your paper? Because I might have an idea, 1 or 2, or maybe we can use this to write a new paper. That you are writing a paper with someone does not mean that you are running the experiment. You may not touch any experiment. All you are doing is interpreting and seeing the missing piece. So I would say that, yes, everybody should write a paper. Go for call for paper. And under the call for paper, to go on Google Scholar, go on places where people type in the type of papers you are looking for. Start reading up. When you read up, you will see how to be able to apply it. And before you know it, you are being called to be an advisor. Like, oh, you know a lot about AI ethics. You say, oh, yeah. I read something about AI ethics on Meta, AI ethics on this one. And I think MTN can use the same thing. They should not be doing this. So let's quickly apply this, because if now they are building their own AI into one space, I think we should also see what are the guide rails that we can build for MTN, and we can apply it to Glow, or we just apply it to all our networks. Like every network, whatever, must have this little piece in whatever note they're sending. A lot of people attack ChatGPT. So now if you open ChatGPT, you will see, because of the hallucination, now ChatGPT is forced to write, ChatGPT can make a mistake. So because they don't want you to take them as just the source of truth, they are not fact checkers. So all these things are what you can do. So just because something looks good and they say if it's not broken, don't fix it, that's a lie. If it's not broken, you can improve upon it. So your paper does not have to start from the scratch. Your paper can be improving upon somebody else's paper. There is this TACRED paper on data sets that they wrote. Now another set of people have released the same paper and called it TACRED. Because what did they do? They improved upon it. And some will still negate the improvement they made, that no, they didn't make the right improvement. So all these are the things you can do to look into how you can actually leverage AI without actually coding, but you can use it for different projects. I'm seeing in retail.
Yes. So some people spoke about, just dropped the industries they belong. Some are in data, engineering, science, and analysis. Some are in peace, conflict resolution. I think I saw some people in conflict resolution, HR.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in conflict resolution, in HR, those are the things you can do too. Maybe you have a platform where you are looking for a position, right? And you are looking for a resume. You remember during COVID, in US at least, I know for sure, they started having this tracker that somebody built, and I'm sure that the person used AI. So the tracker actually bounces resume. So before you even get to the recruiter, it's going to first, they put that as a layer before it gets to them. So when your resume is coming through, you apply for the job, it first goes through this checker. If that checker says that you are not qualified, it throws your resume out. It never gets to the recruiter, good or not. What do you think would happen? The thing that might happen is that they are throwing off good people. that don't know how to write good resume. But they don't care because they are feeling that might be the minority. So that's the same thing too. So if you are in HR, you can actually build a tool in AI, right? That will check the JD, the job description versus the resume and start seeing the alignment. Or better still, because the group I'm talking to is a no-code people, what do? You create a critical thinking. If you want to now solve a problem, you will now go to your boss or you will design something, a prototype. You are not coding right now, remember. You're only designing a prototype. That I think we should have a tool that will look at the job description we have and look at the resume people have submitted. If we see an alignment that is over 50%, or maybe the threshold is 75% of alignment, then these are the people who will schedule for interview. So even if General Salako comes, or general or major, whatever, or a very big man comes and say, this is my cousin, you should hire them. Even though you are going to hire them, right? You are going to first check too, so that it's not just about hiring people. You want somebody that will be effective on your team. You check the resume, check against what? You check it against what the job description is. So you are looking at the job description, you are looking at it. You are not the one that will build the tool. All you are doing is you are recommending that we have something in the system for this, that this will help us. So if the person that General Salako just brought is 25%, immediately you can lower your expectation. You are hiring this person, but you know that this person is not going to perform up to par. It's just because it came from a stakeholder or she came from a stakeholder. So you don't need to do too much. Just know the kind of jobs to attach to this person or not. But then the other people that are also coming in, you can, oh my God, this person is actually 90% alignment. Or you see a 50% alignment and you say, let's give the person a shot. Let this person come for an interview. Let's hear the person talk. Let's see their person's interpersonal skill and all that. So those are the things you can do. You are not coding right now. You are just bridging the gap and looking for what AI can handle. And also talk about law. Law is very beautiful because here I can say anything, and whatever I say here, you can apply it to finance, you can apply it to any industry, you can apply it to manufacturing. Every time you do anything, there is always a contract, right? So can you write out? So now every time they've read a contract, let's say you are working for a particular company, it's a business to business. So my business, Toyin Enterprise, is going to work with Abisola Enterprise, and we need to sign a contract. Every time you have a contract, you have to call a lawyer. You call a lawyer to help you to look to, or your attorney to look through the whole thing and tell you all the fine print and all that. But you already know what the result is. If your lawyer is good with documentation, they will be writing you a feedback, right? That this is the feedback. You know, you can actually take everything you've been doing over the years as a lawyer, or let me even say as a business, as Ills and Tech. Let me take Ills and Tech. Every contract you've written, everything the lawyer has come back with, you place it in a column. This is the contract, lawyer's feedback, and then do LLM feedback. And then you take it, you look for someone that knows how to build a very simple tool. So in GPT now, you can build you don't have to use the normal ChatGPT. You can actually build your own GPT. So you build a GPT that is also an attorney or a lawyer, and you say you're a lawyer. I want you to do this, blah, 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 right? And then you feed in that document into it. You could change the name if it is Ills and Tech versus Toyin Enterprise. Change it to H&T versus TE. So they don't need to know you've already shared up the names of the company, but every other thing, put it into your GPT and say that as a lawyer or as an attorney, what is the document saying? What's this contract saying? What is going to be the holding factor? The same question you asked your lawyer. That lawyer, what do we need to do? Exactly. Ask this thing, ask GPT or ask your LLM, and then you are putting it into place. And then you can compare the results. The truth is that it will pick some things that is already latent in your lawyer that your lawyer will tell you afterward. But GPT or AI, the AI you are using, generative AI, will probably just tell you upfront. So now you are speaking with your lawyer and you are putting point and saying that, Madam Abisola, you've hired another lawyer, right? You say, no, that my team just built an application that can also tell us what to be looking at. So that's the place to use it. I'm not saying depend on the result from it, but use it as something to also compare whatever you want to get, or use it to something that will help you to ingest the paper, the contract much more, because it's going to help you to interpret it. You can put a 12-page document and tell it that summarize this document for me into outlines. Summarize using outlines. So it's not writing a bunch of paragraphs. You are reading outlines, you are seeing everything. So this is what AI can handle for you as a lawyer. You can also do the same thing as HR. You can do it as a finance person. You can do it as a manufacturer or whatever. You can use it in any field. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I like the fact that you spoke about, building your own GPT. That's generative AI. Luckily for everyone here, we're offering that course at the end of the month. So if you would like to learn how to build your own GPT, not chat GPT, you should enroll for that course. But I would like you to talk a little about the difference between generative AI, NLP, RPA, that's robotics process automation, then voice also. So all of these are segments. Just like in few minutes, you could just enlighten us about how all of this works, in AI, because they are all different. They are all different. I remember working with robotics process automation about 4 years ago. I mean, so because when people say AI is new, AI is not new. It has been on for, a long time ago. And now there's generative AI, and now there's LLM, and there's always been voice. But and then so speak about all of these segments in the AI industry.
So let me come into, so generative AI itself is an umbrella, right? It's an umbrella. But on top of this umbrella, we have NLP. We have different ones. So should I call it an umbrella or a bucket? So we have NLP, we have reinforcement learning, we have synthetic data generator, we have different things that goes into it, right? But now we have generative AI. All these can actually have a pipeline. So imagine you having NLP, natural language processing, synthetic data, what's it called, reinforcement learning, supervised learning, unsupervised learning, all those things in here. And then all of them can actually funnel into what we call generative AI, because it depends on how you want to use them. They are all more like a generative AI contains different models. So you have the GPT-3 as part of generative AI. You have GPT-4 as part of generative AI. You have different things. You have something also called VAE, I think so, as part of generative AI. But there are different things you can use them for. So if you go and learn a skill called generative AI, you'll probably know how to use large language models as well. But you will not just know that, you will know much more. So, and all these things are actually interrelated. I've actually not used the robotic process automation or that you mentioned before, but I won't be surprised that it will also look like all these other ones that actually just kind of automate things. So you can use generative AI to automate things, but what part of generative AI are you using? Is it going to be GPT 3.5? Is it going to be GPT-3? Is it going to be another thing entirely that is not large language models? So they are all there. It just helps you to actually simulate, create a simulation, helps you with your modeling. So it depends on the model you actually want to also, what's it called, activate. So I think that's how I explain it, that NLP, natural language processing, is, I would say, would be the best to actually look into if you want to understand more of the generative AI and what the LLMs do. So that would be the future pipeline, like NLP to generative AI to LLM.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So there's a question in the chat box. The question was like, I think the person has taken the AI ethics. Okay, so in a bid to prepare myself for the AI disruption of the century, I've dedicated myself to learning AI ethics. how can I ensure that the knowledge I'm acquiring goes beyond mere accumulation and transforms into actionable insights, allowing me to contribute solutions to ethical challenges in AI and AI projects?
And if my laptop fall down for hey,
Good.
my
So
laptop
you
fall
can be you can, maybe you have a voice. Let me assume that this person has a voice either on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, or different other open spaces that you can actually have a voice in, right? And now you are looking at it that now you've learned ethics. The first thing I said is go and read research papers. So when you are reading research paper, a lot of research papers has a section called ethical consideration. It's very big. And now you are looking at a particular topic, but you are taking all the related topics and you are reading. What do you think you can do? You can start blogging about it. Like, okay, now in this paper where they describe this, the ethical consideration says this. But based on what I know, I'm thinking that they're actually not considering this. So now you are getting to become an expert in that field because you are raising your voice. You are raising your voice. You can even write back to those people, whether it is archived paper or published paper, that the ethical consideration you have in this, what do you think they would do? They will probably set up a meeting with you. And when they set up a meeting with you, you'll be able to consult. Before you know it, by the time you do that to few people's paper or other things, or go to Meta space, go to Meta, go to Google, go and look at what they have under ethics, right? So you're already looking at it that some of this AI, there's also something called explainable AI. That means you want it to be explainable. You want people to be able to understand what AI is doing. And then you that you've learned so much, you've invested so much into ethics of AI, you are now putting your opinion on what they've said, like going through the research papers or going through what is released for ethical consideration for whatever. Look for the companies. Start putting in your input. If they have a comment section or contact us, do a contact us. Run something that can bring attention to you. You are not trying to gain attention by mouthing them. No, you are actually superimposing that they follow the ethics you've learned so far, right? I remember in 2021, I was about to use a data set from United Nations. So I was pulling from United Nations and I said, why will I pull from United Nations? Let me go and rep my own people in Africa. So we also have the same thing in African Development Bank, right? We have the data from United Nations. They do a pipeline. It goes into African Development Bank. And I just noticed that the data I was downloading from United Nations and the one from African Development Bank, there's a discrepancy. Nobody caught that. That was in February, I think. So either February or March, something of sort, either 2020. No, I think maybe 2022. What did I do? I took it upon myself. Nobody asked me to. And I wrote to them that I think your pipeline is broken, that your data pipeline is broken. Can you check your API if it's working? Because this data from United Nations, it's different from the data set you are showing in your own data page, and you are stating your source as United Nations. So what do you think they did? They called up a meeting. They had their people write me that, oh, this must be a miss, whatever. We did not make a mistake. I said, go and check the pipeline. So I pasted the copy and paste, and they said, oh, over the Christmas, something broke in our code. What do you think I did? I called an attention to it. If I wanted to follow up, I can keep knocking that same whatever. I'm going to get an overflow. Before you know it, they will start thinking that, okay, maybe we can have a checker. You can start advising. That's the one I pick. What about if I go into another database and go and check the same thing for Nigeria? Like, what's your data? What's your statistical whatever? Is it also broken? And then I'm checking it every December towards January and helping them to create a monitor. So that's the same thing you can do for ethics. Go into the ethical consideration of papers and start applying your knowledge to it. Before you know it, you become a consultant. And that's big money if you can monetize it. Yes.
And that takes me to the last question, monetizing AI. I'm sure that's what everyone is waiting for. Monetizing AI in our career, and then monetizing AI as a consultant.
Yes, I would say there's definitely a lot of money if you're able to monetize your skill sets in AI. I think an average person in AI makes over 100,000 in US. So that's a whole lot of money. And even if you're, and a lot of them, some of them can work remotely, some of them have to go into the office. So your skill set is actually, if you can gain it, whether it's with the no code that is being focused, that the focus of this team here, or you actually want to learn a little bit of programming on how to apply AI, you will actually make a whole lot of money. Yes, you're not in a wrong country, so okay. But in Nigeria, now you're asking that, how can I do this? You can actually do it more as a consultant, right? So you have all these other ministries, and I know that you say, oh, we don't have a voice, we don't have something. That's why I said, maybe stake your claims on things that can actually get you that visibility. So we know United Nations is always calling for things to be done in Africa. We also have ECOWAS, we have different, sorry, my son is crying. I don't know how to be able to mute that. Yes. So there are things that you can do to actually raise the awareness and make more fun. So it does not have to be that you're making your money right in Nigeria. It could be that you are working with all these international bodies. You have African Development Bank. I'm going to put them on the spot because they don't have a lot of AI going on for them. Their financial sector. We just finished talking today about what you can do, what you can use LLM for, how you can build a GPT. Abisola just said that you guys are going to be having a class on how to actually build a GPT. So what do you think you will do? You can actually get on and actually start building a GPT that will take the documentation that they used to get their clients together and write something in GPT that helps them to interpret that client in a very, very short form. Like whatever document they give you, go in there, push it into it and say, give me a 5-liner or give me just a paragraph based on this document. So when you build a GPT, you can always do that. You can push in the whole document and ask it to just base the inference on this document. Guess what? It produces that for you. You've already reduced the system of their onboarding or whatever it is that they do to get people to come and bank with the African Development Bank. So now you are telling them that this is a missing piece. You are looking for where you can actually promote this. They have contact us, chat with us. They have Dr. Akinwumi's stuff. They are all over there in whatever. You can tell them, I have something to show to you that you can use to actually streamline your process depending on the process. That is that one. There's also different ops, right? There are also different ops that you can go into that is in Lagos that you can say, okay, I have actually this. And I have this, I can build a GPT now. Now that you finish learning it, let's say you finish learning it after attending the classes that Abisola just mentioned, you can start looking for where can I leverage it? Is there a law firm? Is there a law firm anywhere that they are looking to hire people that will be reading a lot of documents? Say, Babaloya, you don't need it again. I will give you this thing because I can build a GPT for you. It would help you to summarize some of this, your content. You still need to read through it to make sure that it makes sense, but I think that at least it will give you an insight of what you should be expecting when you actually ingest the whole thing. So that's how I'm thinking of how you can monetize it. And we already spoke about things, AI strategy. All these jobs, most of these jobs are in UK already, they're in US, and a lot of them are actually remote jobs. So you can actually still get on some of them. And I know that the minister for innovation for technology is Bosun, is also doing some things. You can see how you can join his initiative and actually take it further by not going with him with a, don't go to him with a problem. Go to him with a solution, or go to somebody that knows how to reach out to him with a solution that they might be able to leverage. Sorry, I have my son crying, but that's the kind of probably what I have. And so you can also go to, let me write it out, Glassdoor. It's called Glassdoor. And you can use this thing, I think it's glassdoors.com. You can use this to actually check, like, what are the roles and what's the salary point. And you will see that it's a whole lot higher. So if you need to get anything, get your certifications from MIT, get it from schools that make sense, schools that carries weight, schools that will sell you. But if you're not trying to be hands-on in terms of coding or not, don't take a course more than 3 months. You probably forget a lot of things you've learned a month before. So do those 2 weeks courses, your quick wins, put it on your resume, shout it out on LinkedIn like it's the best thing that's ever happened to you. And then show that you are open to work and start networking.
Awesome. Someone said, oh, she's in the wrong country. Oh, you're not in the wrong country. Like Toyin said, these roles are remote. That's number one. Then number two, they're not I'm not sure they are competitive as much as some other career paths. And from what I've gained so far, all of this information, in fact, I would also have to watch it again because every line is packed with nuggets, especially with the fact that you have to write papers. Because once you begin to write papers, that's also another way to position yourself as a leader. So it means that you are respected, you are a respected authority on this topic. And of course, it would open doors and pave ways for you. So do not be discouraged by your country. If by all means, if you want to get other countries' visas, please do so. But getting all of these high demand jobs also open doors in the sense that you can easily get remote jobs, especially in Europe. From Nigeria, it's easier because of the timeline. But with US, I don't know. But I wouldn't want to say much about that, but I'm sure that it's possible. It's possible. But the last question will be you sharing testimonials of people who upskilled shortly in AI and how their lives have done so far. This would encourage us.
Okay, the story I have is possibly my story. I used to be very, 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 very technical until my husband said, I think you should be done by now. Start moving into management and see how you can actually leverage your strengths. So I worked in the data science field for almost 11 years, hands-on, doing coding, producing stuff, always programming. I would program nights upon nights. My weekends are not mine. They are for my stuff to work, for my code to work and all that. And in 2020, during the COVID, I started reevaluating myself that, okay, even if you are promoted in this data science field again and again, where do you see yourself? And I said, well, I want to be where the world is going. Like, I need to know where they're going before they get there and manage myself or leverage that place before it gets crowded. And then I saw this position for AI research scientist and senior associate. And I'm like, okay, let me check it out. I applied for the position. Funny enough, I only, because it's new. So that's the beauty of entering when some things are new. And now you can still leverage that because it's that. I probably know just 75% of what was going on in the job description. And I said, okay, this one's, I'll pick it up on the fly. If I ever get an interview, before I do that, I will start learning about it. So I started reading so much about NLP, reading so much about what you can use, how you can leverage all this natural language processing. I was seeing synthetic data augmentation. I was thinking about United Nations. Oh, how can I use data augmentation to learn for this data that's always missing in United Nations, and because of that, the developing countries, they don't get any benefit. So I started seeing synthetic data generation, that you can use it for data augmentation and all that. So I started reading about it while I was waiting to actually praying to God that I nail this, I get an interview and then I get to show myself. And luckily for me, I got an interview. And fast forward, I got into the job. So definitely it changed my life. The salary is ginormous. And it was helpful that I did not second guess myself. So some of the roles you would see, you might just be able to do 70% on the fly when you are applying for the job. What I do is that if I apply for a job and I don't apply for a different job and I'm all scattered, I apply for that job and apply for all the other related jobs. So when I'm reading just for all. I'm not trying to read to be an AI strategist. and then I will now see something in data science governance, and I'm running there to go and apply to because I feel like my current stuff will probably benefit from it a lot more. No, I stick to AI ethics, and I can see AI ethics officer, senior AI ethics officer, ethics manager, and all that. And I start looking for how can I leverage it. So I start reading the remaining 30% that might not be covered in my resume. And immediately I land an interview. I talk more also about the 30% that they may not see in my resume. That while I was preparing, I'm a very curious person. I love reading. So I talk about what I also enjoy doing, and then I start talking about it, but it might be different in Nigeria. So you might need to bring in the things you've talked about already into your resume. So before you start applying, look for those roles and what their job descriptions are, and start learning some of them on the fly. In between 2 to 3 months, the job descriptions will probably not change. That job might be gone, but if it's open again, the job description will probably be very similar. So what you've learned over 2 months or what you've learned over a month will definitely work. And then you go ahead and write a very catchy resume. You have to be able to know how to write your resume. When you know how to write your resume, then you can nail, at least you can get yourself an interview. Then you have to go and learn the skill set. I mean, Ilse and Tech do this on how to actually nail the resume and take it all the way, get the job. So I would say that there is a lot of opportunities. I've done it. I transitioned from data science field just 3 years ago into AI, and I'm enjoying AI. And I'm hands-on. I program a lot. I do some that is just research papers. I join people on research. I may not even take up any of their experiments, and I'm just reading and helping to add reading related work and adding to the text part of the paper, not anything with or coming up with metrics whatsoever. So you can do that as well. So while you're waiting for the opportunity to come your way, you can actually bring the opportunity to your doorstep. I've told you, go on Google Scholar. All these things you are looking at, they're also, all the opportunities you are looking for, they are also looking for you. So start making yourself available by going through a lot of papers. By the time you ingest the paper, you start writing a paper, you know the conferences to look into, AAAI, EMNLP. There are different conferences. And to write a full-fledged paper, except if you don't have resources for experiment, it will probably take you less than 3 months to write a solid paper, because some of them will tell you that they need an 8-page paper. So it's not the paper you write for your final year that it has to be 36, 42. No, sometimes their long paper might be between pages 8 to 12, and their short paper might be 4 to 6. So you see that you can achieve it because that 4 to 6 must make sense. So when you are reading papers, some papers may just be 8 pages, some may be 12 pages, but you are reading it because every what's it called? Every line must be catchy. Every line must make sense. You can't use random words or redundant words just to fill up your space. And before you know it, you start knowing how to write a rock solid whatever. You're opening yourself up to an international sphere. And before you know it, you start becoming a lead in that role, like what Abisola said, a consultant. So you may not start out getting a job outrightly, but you can actually open consulting firms for yourself where you say, oh, I can build you this skill. Or you know those that can build it, and you're saying, I can actually get you those skill sets. And you start looking for people around to be able to build those skills with and deliver. So that's what I would say. But there's definitely money, a lot of money in AI.
Thank you. Okay, yes, the recording will be shared. And Rukewe, yes, so for everyone interested in the generative AI course, I think that's a starter. That's one way to, skill up in the AI space. But aside from that, I'm sorry, also my kids are distracting me and my head is all over the place. But aside from that, so Mr. was recently promoted, as the VP. And to be honest, that's really rare for a Black person and then for an immigrant. A lot of us have Jackpot plans, or maybe hope to Jackpot someday. Yes. So we would like her to give us some little tea as regards the corporate space in America and how we can gear towards it once we land?
Okay, yeah. Thank
That will
you.
be my, I promise that will be my last question for today.
Okay, I hope so. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. But definitely the corporate space in America is a little bit it's different, especially when you are not the majority. Most of the time, you won't be the majority in your role. So I tell people, work hard like it depends on you. And then trust God, like it all depends on God. But one of the things I would say is that you have to be a hard worker. Because I'm also in school, and to be sincere, even prior to becoming an executive MBA candidate, actually in the #1 business school in US, I actually have had the same type of way of doing things. I don't have 12 hours myself. I have a minimum of 20 hours. So I don't use, there's nothing, I have little kids. My first kid just turned 6. So trust me, my children are small. My second one is 3. So, but all I've always done, even as a single to when I got married, is to make sure that I give myself the opportunity to use the hours, whether it is day or night. When it is nighttime and I put all my kids to bed, I come back and I sit down and I read books. I read books, I code, I look for how to improve my skill set. I look for what I if it is weekend, I start thinking about what can I do? What is it that I'm supposed to do that can give me an edge? And when I first started my career, I would have to change my job. So you can do job hopping as well to get the promotion you are looking for. But I also wanted to see that, okay, now that I'm in the AI space, I can as well leave that now I'm in a good school. I'm in a very, very big school, #1 business school. My school will sell me. I can start looking for a different job. But I said, no, you know what? I want to put so much work into it and see what it feels like to actually get promoted in a field that you just actually got into a few years ago. And I would learn, I would take classes, I will watch YouTube videos. In fact, I will be on my phone and my son will say like, he wants to watch Baby Shark, do. And because he sees me on YouTube, and I'll just say, you know what, take my stuff. I'm watching something. So they are always thinking probably I'm watching a movie, but I'm taking a class. I'm still cooking. So I'm just saying that you have to do extra because you don't have a sponsor yet. And you want to be able to let your work speak for you. So that's what and when you see an opportunity to do some things, especially whether how it relates to maybe volunteering at work, you can push in that as well. You can always put that in, but it will take hard work. Let me just be truthful. And even with hard work, some people will say, oh, I've been doing hard work and there's no results yet. Always to your interpersonal skill. So I remember last year, 2 years ago, yes, please do extra. 2 years ago or so, they promoted some people to the vice president position. A lot of people were complaining that, oh, they were not worth it. I said, to be sincere, if we look at everybody, we will have something to say, one thing or the other to say that this person is not worth it or this person wants it. But I said, what did this person do? And they told me, oh, this person did this. I said, oh, is that the cream? Is that the cream de la cream? Is that why you think that they promoted the person? I said, yes. I said, oh, wow, I'm happy for them. What do you think I did? I started leveraging it. I started looking for what they were doing, looking for the opportunities. Then it's not just doing those things alone, it's doing much more. I started doing much more than it, having one-on-ones, having the manager I'm reporting to also talk to me about what I talked to them about what I'm doing. And then I said, is there a room for improvement? What room of improvement are you looking for? What do you think you're looking for? And then in every company, let's be sincere, there is always for each role, they will write the expectation for each role. I think so in most companies, at least I've always said. So I started looking at the expectation for the next role and I started behaving like that. I left just what is expected of my role and started working on the expectation of the next role. And so those are the things I was doing. And I was making sure that I was putting myself out there, pushing myself. Was it easy? No. I probably contracted COVID twice last year. because I was stressed and I was going out, I was getting information and all that. It's not that you are going to be sick or whatever, but I'm just saying that you can do extra. And it's always good when you then see that your extra can pay off for you. There are different companies, just like people say, different strokes for different folks. Sometimes it would be that, okay, they need you to perform at this level. And even when you're performing at the level, because I've experienced that before, I will perform at that level and they will change the job description on me and call it the same role instead of actually promoting you. So those ones are also out there as well, and it can happen. So I'll say do extra and pray for God's favor. I'm a Christian, and I am also equally very prayerful. So I would not say it's just me being hardworking, but I always tell God, this is what I'm looking for. Help me to be able to position myself and write down what you are looking for as well. So if you're looking for a promotion, what kind of promotion are you looking for? What do you want to be doing? What do you, when they mention AI, you want to be the first to reckon with. I write all those things out and I look for ways to position myself that way. It could be that somebody posted something on LinkedIn. I'll go repost it and write a little description, or I will go and write a description underneath it, or I would message the person that actually shared that on LinkedIn that, this is very insightful. I don't want to kind of just go into the message and write something, but thank you for sharing. I was actually thinking about this. You're already putting yourself in the spotlight. The spotlight is not on you, but you're drawing the spotlight on yourself. So those are the ways I started doing that. And the more you are getting the traction, the visibility, there's no way it will not probably go back into what you do. So you might get the benefits from your company through promotion, or actually moving outside your company and actually getting promoted in a different company.
Wow, thank you so much. That was really, really insightful. Thank you for joining us, Ms. Toyin. Thank you for all the nudges. Thank you for the tips and the advice. And
You're welcome.
oh yeah, truly insightful. Yes. Yeah, it's good to know we're on the right track. Yes, you are. Yes, you're on the right track. Oh, thanks, Ruke. Well, yes, you really learned a lot. You said a personal message. So thank you everyone for joining us. If you'd like to join our generative AI course, that's the course that you can start with. You can register with us at Youth and Tech. But if you also want to check courses on MIT, University of Pennsylvania, just like Ms. Toyin said, you can also register. Yes, so please ensure that you're upskill. This is February, and a lot can happen before the end of the year. We want to share your testimonies on our platform. We want to know that we motivated you to take up that course and take up that career path. So thank you everyone for joining us. And I already asked to join that course. Okay, so Destiny, please, would you send us a DM? We'd be happy to answer you. Yes, thank you. So yes, we have so many positive response in the chat. I'm happy I joined. A pleasure to meet you. Yes, please. I will be sharing a LinkedIn name. I think a LinkedIn name, so you can connect with her on LinkedIn. That's yeah, please. So please send her a request. You can tell her that you joined us. You joined, from Use and Tech. Are we going to have the recording? Yes, it will definitely be shared. Definitely be shared. So thank you everyone for joining and spending your time with us. Thanks to everyone, and have a good night. Bye.